edition of Futbol Heel. I am joined as usual by my boys Johnny and Andres. What up, boys?
Yo, what up?
Got
What up, fellas?
Rafael in the back. Johnny coming at us live from somewhere. In
We
the
out
great
here playing.
outdoors.
We out here playing footy, bro.
Real deal. Holyfield. Well, welcome back, guys. Another busy week of football. Another interesting week. A lot of things going on because games are coming fast. As all the leagues are trying to resume and finish play from the forced pause from the pandemic. MLS, the season started last week right after we went on. When we went on for the MLS's back tournament, I talked about how FC Dallas had tested positive and players on Nashville tested positive. And then the Chicago Fire, our local team, their game was postponed, and now they're in a different group. And they will resume play tomorrow, but we've had a couple of false starts and postponements and movement in MLS since the restart because of COVID. So it's not a very, stable situation there. So the players, of course, are all in a bubble in Orlando, Florida. And Florida is now like a hot spot. Crazy amount of cases being reported in Florida. So again, it'll be interesting to see what happens with the MLS, to see if we have any more news or updates of any players testing positive. Hopefully not. But just another quick note about MLS restart or the MLS's back tournament. The play has been generally poor. I've been watching some of the games and kind of regretted watching them. Understandably so. It's been a long time since MLS stopped. They played 2 weeks and then the season stopped for a sec. And teams are noticeably rusty. Our boy Alan Pulido looked pretty good yesterday, though, for Sporting Kansas City. Had a nice little turn and assist for a goal. But yeah, MLS kind of haphazard, kind of maybe could stop at any given moment. So keep an eye as things progress in the U.S. or digress or regress, depending on how you feel about the situation in general. But in big news, yeah, go for it. My fault.
No, I feel like that's kind of crazy, right? The MLS stuff, where it's like they probably shouldn't be playing, huh? If they got players testing positive all day.
Well,
And then same thing in like basketball. The U.S. is having a hard time with this testing BS stuff, you know?
Yeah.
Because look at how many times the UFC, just as an example, have to do tests to get the sport going, you know?
Yep.
But in Europe, that's not the case. The problem, right?
No.
So something funky, I don't know, going on there. And you would be the only person to start this with MLS coverage.
Because, man, it's
stop. The Fire, right? The Fire didn't play.
Well, their game last week got postponed because the team that they were supposed to play had to drop out of the tournament. And now they play tomorrow at 8 a.m. of all times. They play tomorrow at 8 a.m. against Seattle. They were placed in a different group now that 2 teams have to drop out. And they play Seattle and our boy Matias Almeida's team, San Jose.
And that's all in Florida?
All in Florida.
Florida.
Yeah, Florida.
Damn.
In
That's
Orlando.
Crazy, bro.
Yeah.
All I got to say is they got to get their crap together with that and figure out how they're going to restart, you know, or be more efficient. And then they're just going to be in Florida then?
Yeah.
Low-key right next to the basketball team, right?
Yeah, they're nearby in Orlando at the complex too. And then Disney's opening the theme parks again.
That doesn't sound very safe at all, to be honest with you.
Not at all. Florida's doing very Florida things, you know?
Yeah, craziness right now. Craziness here coming live.
Yeah, but moving on from MLS.
Go Fire. Yeah.
Just a reminder that the tournament will count for, I believe, CONCACAF champion seeding. And the group stage matches will count for points for the regular season in MLS when and if it returns. So the teams that dropped out. Don't necessarily miss out on anything, too prestigious or too crazy. And then I guess if you want to talk something a little bit more prestigious and a little bit more crazy, Serie A is the lone remaining major European league, right? I guess Spain hasn't officially been decided yet, but Real Madrid hasn't dropped any points. They've won all 9 of their games back. Barcelona won their last 2 games since we spoke, but nothing's changed in Spain, and it looks like Real Madrid is going to close it out there. So Italy is where it looked like things could get interesting, right? We thought. And now, all of a sudden, after this weekend, Juventus has an 8-point lead at the top. They won again. They drew Atalanta in a thrilling match where they had a 1-on-2 PKs, scored, of course, by CR7, who's now at 26 league goals, right?
Yeah, 26. Damn. The first player or the first person to do it in 5 leagues, I think, have 25 goals at least. That's only your boy right there, Cristiano.
In 5 leagues or in 5?
In 5 divisions or in 3? He did it with 3? Well, 3.
Yeah, 3.
I said 5, man, but
well, yeah.
25. I forgot the stat exactly, but 25 goals in Italy, 25 at least in Spain and in England.
Yep, in three leagues. Yeah.
11 pretty crazy.
11 of which are PKs.
I don't think I don't think he beats Lewandowski though for the boot.
No, for the golden boot.
Probably not close. He's kind of a little further off.
Meanwhile, Messi joined the 20 goals, 20 assists club. Which is prestigious as well. But
just him and Henry in the last decade.
Yep. We digress though. Juventus is 8 points clear in Serie A. And just when it looks like things could get interesting in a league that hadn't been competitive or interesting in a really long time, Lazio start dropping points, Inter start dropping points, and all of a sudden, 8 points in between second place Inter and first place Juve. To make things, I guess, a little bit more interesting, Inter and Lazio are tied on points, but Inter's got the better goal differential, so they're second. And then Atalanta is just 1 point behind them. So 9 points separate first place from fourth place in Serie A right now. So mathematically,
probably the top 4 ending the season.
That's how it's going to end, you think?
Yeah, because Roma is on 5th, 13 points behind Atalanta. So,
well, I guess you kind of started answering the question I wanted to ask. Is this how it ends? Is it in the bag for Juve now? Is there 9 straight? They're crazy 9 straight title, or Scudetto. Is it in the bag now?
Yeah.
Can anybody still catch him? Can Atalanta's won before they tied Juve this weekend, had won like at least 10 consecutive Serie A matches. Can they continue that and catch them up, or are they just too far gone now?
I'll start. I think that Juve is going to win the league. 8 points seems a good amount. What's that, 3 games? 3 and a tie that they got to lose for anyone to catch up to them. Don't think it will happen. And I got to say, since the restart, all the leagues look super exciting, and they all ended up kind of being anticlimactic as hell because the English league was already decided. The Spanish league turned out not to be a real race. And then so did this league now too, the Italian league, and it was shaping up really nice, remember? So same thing with Germany, remember?
Yep.
And then all out of nowhere, all the favorite teams just started winning, But no, I think Juve wins it, and that's a wrap for the season. And we got to start looking ahead to the champs, and to maybe the European positions is obviously what the biggest. That's the more interesting thing I think about the leagues finishing up. Those positions, there was a lot riding for those positions. So it has been exciting though, watching football, and everything. But yeah, I digress. But I think Juventus will win, and it's too much.
You think the same, Andres?
They're
too far ahead.
Yeah, I think we have to give credit to Juventus. They haven't been playing dominantly in their league, but somehow they grind out decisions, PKs. I don't know what's going on, but we're seeing results. And I mean, Sarri doesn't really have his team, but he's been able, to get. I mean, he got a controversial win against Atalanta, but I felt like that was the game where, I could have shifted everything, and it didn't shift, and here we are. You had 8 points.
Well, that's what I was going to say, too, is they haven't been the most convincing. They haven't been flat-out dominant. They don't really have a midfield, right? It's something that we brought up before, and that was further demonstrated in this match against Atalanta, right? They played Betancourt. They played Matuidi, right? And they played Rabiot. And for a good portion of the match, they didn't put up much of a resistance to Atalanta going forward. It wasn't until they made a couple of substitutions there that, even with the substitutions, Atalanta pulled ahead 2-1, and then it wasn't until Higuain tried to kick the ball clear or something. It was going out of the box, and it hit Muriel on the hand, and it was harshly ruled. I mean, by the letter of the law, I guess, it struck his hand, so it's a PK and a handball. But you got to feel for Atalanta, who kind of really set the tone for the game, played better, and were about to ride out the victory. It was a 90th minute PK. It was the last minute PK for CR7 to bring home a crucial point. And I agree. I think it's a turning point on the season. Lazio looked like they had him in their sight, and then Lazio started dropping points left and right. Inter's been spontaneous, I guess, sporadic, right? Up and down. You see some good things, and then they start dropping points too. And Atalanta, as thrilling as they've been playing and as good as they've been, they're just too far back at this point. So Juve is going to win their ninth straight title. Ridiculous. Right, and I guess focus shifts to the Champions League. And if you want to talk Champions League for Juve, I think they might be in trouble because of that midfield combination. But more on that later. Is there anything else you guys want to add on the Italian league? Any tidbits? AC Milan. Go ahead, Andres.
No, I was going to say it's nice to see all the top clubs back, top 6, top 7. We got Milan, we got Roma, we got Napoli, we got Lazio. I mean, it's nice to see all these big clubs come back into, the fold.
The historic clubs, right? And speaking of which, AC Milan and Napoli played yesterday, and they tied 2-2 in what was a very entertaining match as well. So, Serie A improving, right? And teams that had been poor for a decade, like Inter and AC Milan, are starting to find their way, right? Looks like it. Elsewhere, Man City, big day for Man City. Today is the day that the ruling came down from the Court of Arbitration in Sport. Their appeal was successful. No ban for Man City. They get to play the Champions League. It looked like they might be banned for 2 years. They won their appeal. They get to play in the Champions League. So, for a while, it looked like in the Premier League, 5th place was going to take their spot. If the ban was upheld, it's not going to be upheld. And now 4th place in the Premier League becomes, like Johnny mentioned earlier, the thing to watch, right? There's a couple teams in the mix there. Liverpool has already sealed the title. Man City's way too far ahead in 2nd place and still playing well. And then Chelsea looks like they're kind of I thought they were settling into 3rd place, but now they're kind of on a run where, they lost, right? They've had some unfavorable results as of late. They're going through a rough patch. So 4th place in that final Champions League spot looks very, very entertaining, the battle there. Today, Manchester United played their match at hand, and they tied Southampton. Southampton actually got the draw at the very end off of a corner after United went a man down due to injury. They made all their subs, and then one of the subs got injured, so they played the last 2 minutes before they got scored on with a man down. So I mentioned Man United first because they're still my pick to finish 4th. I still think they finish as is right now. Liverpool, Man City, and then Chelsea in 3rd and United in 4th. I like Wolves. I like the story. I like the project. I like the players. But I think they'll even still Europa is good for a club like Wolves, right? They're still in this edition of the Europa League, and to do it again, I think is still big for them to be in European competition. And then Sheffield, I don't see making the leap to fourth, and Leicester City, quite frankly, is starting to fall off. Maybe they're tiring, maybe they're just out of ideas there. But I personally see United. Even though they dropped 2 points today in the run up here, they have the favorable schedule. They play Crystal Palace, and the other two matches escape me right now. I think Aston Villa. Could be wrong there, but they're not the toughest matches that they play, right? What do you think? I'll start with you on this. Who's going to finish fourth and get that last Champions League spot now that we know that City is going to keep theirs?
Well, I think United has an easier. I think it's going to come down to that Leicester City-Manchester United game, bro. They play on July 26th, and it's also going to be kind of dependent on how they play against Chelsea. Those are their two biggest games, I think, they're left. But, yeah, I think that's going to decide it. I mean, it's the last game of the season, and it's probably going to be the game that they, fight for third or fourth, or they drop to fifth. I don't know. But, I mean, third or fourth place, that's still good enough for them. That's way more than what people expected them, way more than I expect them to be. So props to them. They got it done at the last couple games of the season. But, I mean, even today they tied, but it didn't seem like they were playing bad. They were attacking. Martial had a couple good chances. Rashford. Pogba had some mistakes, but, I mean, I guess you could say that he's rusty, from not playing. Yeah, them and Chelsea are trending upwards. Leicester's trending downwards. If this continues, yeah, you probably see them Chelsea and Man U top four.
Quick note, like you mentioned, Pogba did have a mistake that led directly to Southampton's first goal, and then he quickly atoned because he had the pass before the assist in United's second goal to take the lead. And then, of course, Martial and Rashford both have 16 Premier League goals. I believe they're both into the 20s overall now for the season. Kind of, lending to the theory of the young attacking talent there at United, right? Pogba and Fernandes have looked good in the mid since they've been back. Wan-Bissaka had an excellent game today. I think Luke Shaw left injured. And his backup, Brandon Williams, is the one who left injured to leave them a man down. So maybe concerns there. I know Johnny's not sold on Maguire or anybody else there in center back. So that being said, who do you have finishing fourth, Johnny?
Probably United.
But you're still unimpressed, third. Right?
No, I'm not at all. They couldn't even beat Southampton. And what was all this talk about, man? They got a beast-ass defense, 10 clean sheets in a row. You remember all that? Leaking to freaking Southampton. Dude, the team is all right. They're all hype right now, I'm telling you. You know why? But I like Rashford. I don't know what you want me to say because I'm kind of talking crap, but what was in the game today then? That defense, right? Had to have been. I don't think they're at that level to compete. They're probably 2-3 players away, but I got Chelsea 3 and Man U 4. And then, well, I was going to say, how many games are left? Is the Italian League going to finish first or the English League?
The Premier League's going to finish first. They have 3 matches left.
Okay. And I feel like this is kind of my theory that, or for you, I'll bring it up, that it's because all the bigger teams have more depth and they're playing every 3 days. They have better players, So this is like kind of been at a disadvantage for the smaller clubs, which only reflects on like the terrible ban that City didn't even get a ban. All this talk about a ban, and teams were kind of playing for fifth. You know, and now it went away. They showed them like their hopes and dreams, and then they were like taken away because City just paid 10 mil, and then that's it. But I think that's what it is too. In the Italian league, Juventus has a more deeper roster, or am I making it up? You think Lazio has a good enough roster to compete? Atalanta has been the only surprise team, kind of how like in this whole thing. They're kind of crazy, bro. That team's sick, right? They're this year's like revelation or just like different shit, you know. Pretty cool to see. How I tell you, they literally just line them up and shoot all day. Atalanta, and then they're just like they're everywhere, dude.
Attack from all angles. From all angles. There was the crazy stat, and then I'm glad that you mentioned it. From Atalanta was there was a stretch of about 8 minutes where Juve couldn't get a pass outside of their own half. And Atalanta had them pinned. 8 minutes. That's insane.
Damn.
That's insane. Like, I'm sure that's definitely happened, you know, a couple times, you know, in modern, you know, memory. But for a team like Atalanta to do that to a team like Juventus, I mean, on paper, the team that spends the most on salary versus the team ranked 12th in wages, right? In the wage bill in Serie A. So it was definitely a great match. I'm glad I watched that one. But Man City, I'm glad you mentioned as well, because I briefly mentioned that they won their appeal, but I didn't mention, for those who weren't aware, previously they had been banned 2 years for essentially cooking the books and lying about sponsorships. They reported inflated sponsorships, and essentially what they did was pump some of their own vast pools of money in through their sponsors, so that they can report it as sponsorships instead of, you know, losses and things of that sort of accounting nature, right? Stuff way above my pay grade. But they lied, and then not only lied, but then covered it up, right? Actively try to cover it up and not cooperate with UEFA during the investigation. From my understanding, there was a couple of technicalities that actually got them out. One was UEFA's own incompetence. One thing that we'll continue to talk about a little bit, and one thing that Johnny's adamant about, is just the corruption that plagues football, right? At every stage, from UEFA to FIFA, right? And it's just looking like UEFA botched this and didn't handle it right or cut corners. And Man City was aware of the fact, right? The other thing too, that I guess helped them out was a statute of limitations, right? They couldn't be punished because this was over 5 years ago, I believe now, right? So because the investigation dragged on so long, it's very likely that if this would have happened last year, for instance, or like 15 months earlier, the ban would have been upheld, right? Because it was still within the 5 years that it happened, right? This is all about stuff that City did from 2014, or actually from 2011 to 2015. And then, you know, that's when things went south and they were discovered, right? So they got off really, I guess, on a technicality and UEFA's incompetence. But nonetheless,
they did it. They did it, bro. They definitely, you know, cooked the books. Yeah. So now, what happens? Do they still have the motivation to win? Does Pep stay? Do all the players stay? You know, for another round?
Of course. Yeah, absolutely. Nothing changes. I think they're still favorites to win the Champions League. One of the favorites, and yeah, now you won't see an exodus of stars. They already lost Sane, but that was good for them, I guess, because he was going to go for free next year if he didn't go this year, right? So at least they got some money for him. But if they got that ban, they could have risked losing, you know, the Kevin De Bruyne's, possibly the Raheem Sterlings, who, you know, have always flirted with Real Madrid and things like that. So, yeah, I think it's major for them. It's major.
I I still think this isn't their best chance to win it. I think maybe next season with a better defense, foolproof, they'll win it. I think this year they have a tough road. Whenever we get the champions, I think it's going to be a little tough for them. But, I mean, definitely if they have next season to work at it, they can probably improve.
I guess quick word on Chelsea before we move on to Champions League. What's up with them? Are we finally seeing their weakness? Recently, we've seen brilliant attacking displays from them, right? Players like Pulisic looking good. But then this weekend we saw probably, again, their Achilles heel, just defensive errors. Rudiger and Zoma both made mistakes to give up goals this weekend, right? So while we're hearing rumors of them still buying, they've already brought in Hakeem Ziyech from Ajax. They've already brought in Timo Werner, right? And we're hearing that they want to blow 100 million on Kai Havertz.
Yeah,
right?
those are the quantum.
I think that would be ill-advised.
They already came
Clearly,
out.
they need defensive reinforcements, right?
Baby blue.
So, what's wrong with Chelsea? Would you agree that they need those defensive reinforcements, and is that going to cost them, or they stay third?
I think. You'll go, Andres. I want to hear what you say. I guess. Gonna say something wild.
I think they weren't really projected to go, top 4, but but their glaring weakness is their defense. So I mean that defense is terrible, bro. They're as many games that they won, they probably lose as many. So I don't know. They're talking about probably being sold. They definitely bring in reinforcements. I think that's just a bad. That's like Arsenal. They have a bad defense, they're gonna lose games. Chelsea, same thing. Bad defense, you're gonna lose a couple games. I mean, that's just their weakness.
Yeah, I think I would agree with that, and I think it's been a hard way to predict everyone's form right now because everyone's on playing every 3 days. I low key be loving it, right? It's Monday you be watching soccer games, and then you're like, oh damn, Messi on TV randomly, and then I think Chelsea's just going through a rough patch too right now. I do think there is defensive problems, but from all those center backs, you got to think they're got to keep at least one because there's like 3 or 4 that they have, right?
Yeah.
So I think what Andrew said, you buy a good defender and they're kind of settle or more in the back. I am scared to think that they'll drop more points, but I think they haven't been playing that well, and I think there's room for improvement. And I want to say they finished strong, And Man U right now is just, I mean, they're playing really good, I guess, though. They're definitely gonna be top 4. No doubt, even top 3. So it's kind of a race for 3, 4, 5 right now, and 6 too. That's what I'm saying, to watch that because it's gonna be crazy.
Yeah, Andres mentioned it, right? But Man United plays Crystal Palace, and then they play Chelsea, and then the last day of the season they play Leicester.
I got Chelsea. And I'll take Leicester. A couple
of crucial matchups still that'll make this very entertaining. And then I guess we'll move on to the most controversial part of today's show, and the controversial part amongst us this last week. When was it? Friday. Friday, we awoke to the news, the revelation of the Champions League draws for the next round of this new tournament-style Champions League. So for anybody who missed it, the winner of the Manchester City Real Madrid tie will play the winner of the Lyon Juventus tie. The winner of the Barcelona-Napoli tie will face the winner of the Bayern Munich-Chelsea tie. PSG faces Atalanta, right? Atletico faces Leipzig. Then we have what am I missing here? I was on a roll for a second. I was trying to list them all off the top of the dome.
City Madrid versus Juve Lyon.
That's the first one I mentioned.
Oh, then you're done.
No, I'm missing.
That's it. There's
Yeah, that's it. You're right. But yeah, either way, Johnny did not like to draw. He did bring up some points that I thought were good. Namely, this is interesting because we're using a bracket, right? And now it looks like all of the quote unquote big teams and the historically powerful teams are on the same side of the bracket and are going to take each other out. Potentially setting up a matchup like Atletico versus Bayern, right? Or PSG versus, Leipzig or something like that. So, Johnny, first of all, we'll start with your thoughts on the draw, just because you were the most vocal about the draw and how much you didn't like it.
I just didn't like it because I thought it was bullshit. To be quite honest with you, that's what I thought. It was like all the big teams one side and all the teams that don't have nothing to play for, or not play for, like against still, like ties remaining on one side. It's like, it's very PSG friendly. It's very, Atletico kind of, not really. I think Atalanta I'll take before Atletico. And it's like, what the fuck was that? My bad. But it was like, whatever. I think Barca does, like, I don't know. We could kind of talk about, the champs. I don't know. I think Barca might not even win or pass. But my favorites are still Man City, PSG now, and then a Bayern. But even then, do you think that pressure that Man City got no ban, even does it ease it off? No, right? Still as much pressure on City and Pep to deliver, like no matter what. At least for me, but
a couple of shows ago, you had, I think, the best answer for that, in that Pep hasn't won the Champions League without Messi or since he left Barcelona, right? So I think that pressure is always going to be there for them. I do think it's kind of funky that all of the power teams ended up on one side of the bracket, right? So I guess that does make it interesting and does give hope to the Atalantas and the Leipzigs remaining, right? But I know you found it. You think that knowing your opponent ahead of time is possibly detrimental?
Yeah. Because if they're gonna play all the games within 2 weeks or whatever they're saying, that means by the time they're winning games at that point, they're gonna only have like 3 days to know their opponent. So what's the difference in just playing out the games that are remaining and then doing the draw as soon as they win the next day? You know? And then play within 2 to 3 days of the draw. I don't see what the urge was to do it right now. And now that you say it doesn't look good that now City's thing is not banned. And then I'm just like, fishy business going on, and you're just like, I keep saying FIFA needs some type of governing body to be above them, because that's the most corrupt thing I've ever seen in my life too, Talking about all this crazy stuff, but I didn't like the timing of the draw, and I didn't like how it ended up either. You can't tell me that it's random, Frankie. They did that random, and they're like, you know what? All the big teams ended up on this side. There was some rules that they used, and I think Andres knows. But
oh yeah, they ditched the restrictions on national teams playing each other from the same league, and then they're still using the 5 subs.
Quick shout out to my boy Will, for watching the show. Thanks, Will. Another local, passionate futbolista.
Yeah.
Appreciate your like and your comment.
Shout outs to Will.
I think the draw was just kind of done that way because of the teams that haven't played and the teams that have played. It's probably just easier for them to play at their home stadium and then just fly to Lisbon for the tournament at the end of the season. I don't know if there's any conspiracy there, but it does look bad when all the big teams are on one side of the bracket. But who cares? They have the resources. They have the players. There's no disadvantage. Put them all together. See who the best is. Let's get a new winner in there.
I think that's the only disadvantage is that we end up with a final potentially. I think, again, Atletico, right, versus Bayern or something like that, and I don't think that's a bad final necessarily.
At the end of the day, I'm not mad either because, like what Andres said, the best teams are gonna have to play the best teams no matter what. So that's like, I'm fine with that, But it's just like, I don't know. It looked kind of weird to me.
I think a lot of that decision making. I mean, obviously, I would never rule out shady things, right, or corruption when it comes to FIFA or UEFA. But I think again, like Andres has mentioned previously, a lot of this was forced by COVID, right? They have to finish this tournament up or have a champion or void it before they start the next one. And usually Champions League qualifying starts by August, all the other smaller European nations and, the third and fourth place contenders or finishers in certain leagues still have to play their way in, right, for their spot. So I think more than anything, they just got to get the ball rolling, and that's why they're only doing the one legs now, too. I think their hand is kind of forced, COVID held everything up long enough, and now they got to get it all in. And then, of course, playing all those matches or trying to play all those matches with full home and away legs. You more wear and tear on these players, and then, like Andres said, travel too, right? If you're traveling to and from different European cities again, you're risking the exposure and contamination. And we already know that one of the super events, or what was it, contaminant, the Atalanta versus Valencia match at the San Siro was one of the events that spread the virus in Italy, right? And we know this. They traced it to that. So I think I agree, Johnny, with some of your frustrations, and I, again, wouldn't rule out shadiness and corruption with this, but I think it's just COVID related,
I think there's also a lot of variables this year to kind of figure out who's going to win. There's some teams that have played, 10 games in 3 weeks. You got PSG that blew out a team, League 2 team 9-0. You can't really tell friendly. Friendly. You don't know. You can't tell what form everyone's in. Atalanta is playing, most informed team, but they might run out of gas. It's kind of hard to tell. So, a lot of these teams have superstars like CR7, Messi. I mean, they can show up in a one game tie, So,
well, I guess specifically, then, is there any one of these ties that you guys are really got your eye on, right? Because there are some that set up potentially if Barcelona gets past Napoli, they have to play Bayern, right? We're looking at Juventus versus Man City. Atletico plays Leipzig, right? And PSG plays Atalanta. But which one of those you guys is the most, or I guess is the most appealing to you guys? Sorry, I'm fumbling over my words here.
The most appealing?
Yeah, which one do you want to watch the most?
Personally, I kind of want to watch that City Madrid. I think Madrid has a lot of. Why are you laughing?
Well, I guess
because that's not even the question. That's not even the question that he's asking.
No, but I answer it anyway. I'm asking for after that because that's fair.
Yeah.
I'm assuming City gets past Real Madrid already, right?
You're asking going to semis or?
Yeah.
Why are you jumping the gun? The quarters haven't even gone yet. I'm not.
That's fair, I guess. That's fair, I guess.
You're literally proving my point of why they shouldn't have done the draw, because I was gonna answer the question. I'm only going off the ties that I do know, and then I could give you some fantasy ties that I might think happens in the other side of the bracket, because apparently some of the teams haven't played, but we're doing a draw for whoever the winner might be. But
nothing is given, right? And
I think none of these.
But I think Man City, for those who have forgotten, is up 2-1 on Madrid, and those 2 goals are away goals. So Madrid has to win by 2 goals, right? Or they need a 2-0 to get past City. Juventus is down to Lyon, but that was a home goal for Lyon, and Juventus is going to play at home for this next one. Barcelona is up, right? Or did they tie?
No, they're up.
They're tied. They're tied 1-1. Tied 1-1.
Barcelona has an away goal.
Yeah, right.
Going home.
And then those are the only ones, right? Oh no, and Bayern is up on Chelsea.
Lion too. Lyon with Juve.
Yeah, and I mean, yeah, Lyon versus Juve. And
I guess if you want to go by your metric, then I'm excited for whoever Bayern plays in the semis. It could be City.
Exactly.
It could be,
No, it's gonna be Barca. So Bayern has to play.
Oh, semi.
Yeah, they have to play Barca or Napoli, and then they would face in the semis. Yeah, maybe Real or Juve, or Man City. Probably Man City. But PSG has Atalanta, and you got to think they're gonna kill them. You
think so?
Or that's the thing. Yeah, that's the thought here, at least for me. And then I'm thinking Atletico too. That was super friendly for Atletico and for PSG.
Leipzig lost their best player, possibly in Werner now, who's at Chelsea. He didn't want to finish the Champions League with them. He wants to get settled in London. PSG hasn't played, guys. French league, remember, was canceled. Andres mentioned the friendly. They just rocked Le Havre, which I believe is in the second division in France, 9-0. But they haven't played a competitive match at this point. All of these other teams have at least played for the last couple months. I don't know if that's necessarily a detriment. If they're anything like this MLS teams, they're definitely going to be rusty, right, and bad.
So what are we putting precedence over? A team full of world-class players or an informed team? Like, which is scarier to you?
Well, here's my thing with PSG then. I guess this is Atalanta's first time this far in the competition. So I do also believe that you need experience to win the Champions League. But their defense isn't convincing. Who can stop that Atalanta attack?
Yeah, their best defense is their offense. So
just Neymar and Mbappe all day.
You think Neymar, Mbappe, Icardi? I mean, it depends on which lineup they go up with, but I mean, yeah, that's a strong. But if they're not in form, I mean, Atalanta is going to pressure them, and they're going to make mistakes. They're not going to be ready for Atalanta to capitalize on an easy mistake. And then what? You're down 1-0. Now you got to come back to an Atalanta team that's probably going to want to score 2 more.
Well, what do you say? What say you if Atalanta keeps winning in Italy? What if they ride out this season strong like they have been?
I think if they convincingly beat Juve, even though they got the tie, they outplayed them. I think they have a really strong chance to beat PSG, regardless if they have Neymar and Mbappe. Just because the whole team is involved, the whole team is informed, not just 2 players. I'm pretty sure they're aware of what Neymar and Mbappe can do in open space. They're probably not going to give them open space. Just my thought.
I'm not of that thought. If anything, they get more. If anything, they get more time to just check how Atalanta plays, and PSG should have more than enough time to come up with some strategy to beat them. Is my guess.
I don't know, bro.
If you want to be all technical.
Pep and Sarri both said they were like, playing Atalanta is going to the dentist. It's gonna hurt. It's not an easy game. No one wants to go feel the pain. Pep had to play them. I don't remember them having an easy time against Atalanta.
Well, are you taking Atalanta then, or what? Because this has turned into an Atalanta fairy tale for you of such a strong team.
I think I'm going to take Atalanta. Yeah.
You can't even name one player for me, and you're taking Atalanta.
Gomez has been their best player all season. He has 16 assists. That's Serie A leading assists count, and he's done a lot. 3 of their forwards have 15 goals.
They've actually got a pretty nice little squad, right? Duvan Zapata can slam in the goals. They've got Muriel coming in off the bench and scoring goals.
That's what I wanted, to give Atalanta some credit here, some standout.
I mean, again,
on
I
think
paper, you see Atalanta versus PSG. I understand, but
it is a good game though. Atalanta's playing the best football, how Andre said.
I think I'm biased too against PSG, and not giving them credit for how they've crashed out of the Champions League in the last couple of years, right? The remontada against Barcelona, and then against Manchester United last year when United came back. I don't know. I don't know if this team is over that hurdle yet, but I guess there's only so many times you can fail, right? Is it their time? This is one of their best opportunities, right? With the single leg elimination.
Yeah, I mean, it's one game. We'll see.
Well, yeah. Serie A is winding down. So is the Premier League. Again, the Premier League, 3 matches remaining. A lot to play for the Champions League and even relegation there in the Premier League. So we've got a lot of matches that we'll keep you posted on, as well as Champions League as those draws approach. And then we've made it to the picks segment of the show. So last week, Johnny and I tied with 3 picks. Andres had 2, so it was a tie there for last week's W. I'll take a partial tie. I don't mind.
I was gonna hop off for the picks, but now I'm gonna stay for the picks. If we could drill them down kind of quicker.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah.
Here we go.
I'm just saying wild shit last week, and us just getting lucky too. It was a crazy week this week, actually. All the results.
Yeah.
It was some crazy matches.
Yeah. Spurs beat Arsenal in the North London Derby, which actually you called, Johnny. Neither of us did, Andres, but Johnny called that one. But yeah, starting with Arsenal, they play Liverpool this Thursday. Yeah, no, Wednesday. They play Liverpool on Wednesday at 2:15 on NBCSN. Who do you guys got, Liverpool or Arsenal?
I'll start. I'd take probably Arsenal randomly, just cause, or maybe a tie. No, I'll take a tie. Sorry.
What about you, Andres?
I got Arsenal. I think Henderson not in the team, they're gonna struggle a little bit.
Andres just doesn't want Liverpool to break the points record.
That's true.
No, I think a tie is the minimum for Liverpool.
They're not the Shark team, bro. The Centurions.
Man, I hate to pick against Arsenal sometimes, but I have to here, guys. I think Liverpool it just has too many weapons and too many options, and then they still, I want to say, people will say that they don't care about the records, and they shouldn't, but I think they partially do. And Arsenal, if anything, this last weekend showed me that they have so many frailties on defense. Mustafi was so bad. Kolasinac gave such a terrible bad pass to let Son in on goal. And a team like Liverpool, I got to believe, is going to exploit those kinds of silly errors. So I'm going Liverpool for this one, for those reasons. Then on the 16th, that is on... Man, I should have written down the days of the week. I don't even know what today's day is. Today's what, the 13th? Yeah, right, the 14th. So Wednesday the 15th. Thursday the 16th. Thursday the 16th. Leicester City plays Sheffield United at noon on NBCSN. This is going to be a big one for, I guess, those determining who gets that Champions League spot and who goes to the Europa League. You guys got Leicester rebounding.
Sheffield, I'll take Sheffield.
Johnny with the Sheff United.
Yeah.
I got a tie.
Yeah, Sheffield has been doing some things. They beat Wolves, which stumped all of us. We all picked Wolves to beat Sheffield.
Yeah, that was kind of
in a similar type of tie last week. I mean, so I think I've learned my lesson, and I'm gonna go Sheffield as well with Johnny because they shut me up a couple times in the last couple weeks. Freaking Sheffield United in their first year back in the Premier League.
Another good team that's been playing great all year. The EPL has so many good teams. Go ahead, my bad.
No, you're good. You're good. Your commentary is welcome. On the 16th, the same day, this is Thursday at 2:15. Right after that, United plays Crystal Palace. Who do you guys got?
United lost Luke Shaw and Brandon Williams, both left back, so they don't have a left back on the team. So I don't think that's going to cause too much problems with all the weapons. I'm going to take United. Unless you're scared of Wilfred Zaha, which I'm not.
They are. I'm taking either Ty or Crystal because I don't think they'll beat United, so I'll go draw.
Draw?
Yeah.
United just drew today.
Fácil, yeah, another draw.
I almost forgot to mention that it was their 18th straight match without undefeated. They haven't lost in 18 straight matches. That's crazy, right? Some sort of consistency there for United. I'm gonna go United again. I was watching the match today, and again, I don't want to make excuses for them, and they probably should have scored more against Southampton, but the way that they gave up the point today was so unfortunate. Williams had to go off, and they were down to 10 men, and they had to defend the corner. It was crazy. I mean, it's why you watch these matches, right? But I gotta believe they bounced back.
Martial had a hat trick, and he scored a rocket, so he's in form for some reason.
Yeah, Anthony Martial's
I got Crystal. Crystal draw. Crystal draw. Yeah, not Crystal draw.
You got the draw then?
Yeah, I'm telling you. Palace? No, the draw. Because I'm saying, Man U not that good, man. They're going to just start drawing.
Follow up with another tie. Okay. Then we jump to Spain. This is the only match I've picked for Spain this week because the rest of them aren't that appealing. And quite frankly, I think we can agree that it's going to finish the way it's going to finish, right? With Madrid winning. Madrid won today, by the way. They beat Ronaldo 2-1.
There's only 2 games left.
Yep, 2-1. Goals from Ferland Mendy and Benzema. Benzema's about to breach 20 in La Liga. They're only second behind Messi. But they play Villarreal. Villarreal lost to Sociedad today, but they've been on a tear. Do you guys got Real Madrid or do you got Villarreal? This is at 2 p.m. on Thursday on Bein Sport.
Madrid. 2 titles in 12 years? Is that what it is? They're going to win their third? I think it's time. I think they did a good job, and I think they're going to win the title.
I'll take a draw or a loss for them. I'll take Villarreal. Fuck Madrid. Oh, crazy! Today was kind of a crushing day because you kind of realize the league is out of reach now for Barca. Madrid can realistically lose another game and then just win their last game. Who's against who? Probably not some top team, you know. Not that they have an advantage, but today I did crush my soul a little bit as a Barca fan, and I try to keep it biased here though. But today it was just out of reach, you know. Because I turned on to see the score, and it was already like 2-0 Madrid halftime, and I was like, damn, any hopes of like ties or drawing is just over, you know. They might win, but I'll take Villarreal because screw them. That's why.
Also, as a Barca fan, I'm gonna pick the draw because I think Madrid has to draw points, whether it be a draw or a loss. And Villarreal is a decent enough team to do it, so I'm gonna go with the draw. And then we jump to the weekend. Sunday, also in La Liga, Atletico plays Real Sociedad in a crucial battle for the Champions League spots there in La Liga. That'll be on Bein Sport at 2 p.m. You guys got Atletico or you got Sociedad?
I got a draw.
Yeah, me too. Just draws I got so far.
I got Atletico. I think they'll start to get primed for the Champions League. Simeone gonna start throwing the gala once out there, you know.
Kind of randomly, all that talk about the hype for Atletico, that they were gonna get that momentum from the Liverpool win, and now it just turned into from them. Just I've seen nothing in La Liga from them this year, you know.
Yeah,
and they're like fighting for third. It's kind of like not up to par. but now they're in the Champions League, you know. But whatever, I got to draw just because they haven't been winning their games. You know what I'm saying? Like they've been struggling hard,
Yeah,
and I haven't seen them. I haven't seen the momentum really shift. You know how we were saying for them.
Yeah.
Like they're kind of winning, but like they have to, you know.
Yeah, they
Just,
won 1-0
sidebar. Yeah,
this
just
weekend.
sidebar on them. And they need to play my boy Herrera, man, starter.
All right, and then finally, the lone Italian matchup for this week, Roma versus Inter. Who do you guys got? This is on Sunday at 2:45 on ESPN Plus.
I'll take Inter. I like Inter.
I got yeah, I got Inter, man. It's good. I think Martinez scored, so he'll probably get back on track.
He scored today, but it was off a crazy deflection. Like he took a shot and it deflected, and it was just a weird.
Sometimes you need a goal. Sometimes you gotta see in the back of the net.
That's fair. That's fair.
I'll take Inter, and I think what we didn't mention either was I'll take Inter, and I'll take it live right here now too. I'll take it on for the UEFA. We didn't talk about that, but I got Inter winning that, and I think I like Inter, bro. They're a good team. And
Alexis looked good today, actually. Alexis Sanchez looked like a player that he used to be for a second.
Yeah, and I think they got Lukaku, man. He's a beast, a tank. But yeah, because we didn't mention the Europa League got drawn too, and I'm taking Inter to win that. Just another sidebar. You're all taking United or who? Because we didn't talk about that at all. Wolves is in there. They got a hard draw. That draw was way more even than and it's still friendly for Man U and Inter than the Champions League draw. But that's me getting out of track.
First of all, I got Inter in this Roma versus Inter.
Yeah, see?
So we all got Inter on that one to wrap up the picks. And second of all, you're right. I'm sorry I discriminated against the Europa League, but I usually don't figure that people want to care as much about the second tier cup competition, right? But you also bring up an excellent point that I hadn't considered, right? I don't have all the answers, which is why I'm glad that you guys do the show with me, because that's an excellent point you bring up. Some of those matchups are a little bit more intriguing, right? Inter Milan and Manchester United are still involved. Getafe is still in there, right? Who does Wolves play now?
I don't even know, but they gotta face Man U if they win.
Oh, if they win, they've got a tough road to the final, you're saying?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, still a lot of big historic clubs in that. So maybe next week, I'll focus a little bit more on the other cup competition, because you're right. Interesting players. Our boy Jimenez is still in that, right?
Well, because you get a Champions League spot if you win, yeah.
Yeah, fair enough.
That could be Wolves' ticket to the Champions League if they miss out on the top 4, 5. They play all close, by the way. And you got Basel, Frankfurt, Leverkusen, Rangers, Sevilla, Roma, Getafe, Inter, United, LASK, Copenhagen, Istanbul, and Donetsk, Wolfsburg.
Yeah, no, some big clubs still in that competition, right? And then actually a lot more clubs than I remember.
Yeah,
right?
It's a lot.
You said Leverkusen. You said some big ones there. So yeah, you're right, Johnny. But even then, they picked them out before. But I guess they're a little bit more even at that level, right? So yeah, I'll make a note of that, and we'll talk about that a little bit more. Also, quick shout out to the Copa por Mexico that's being played right now. Cruz Azul rocked America 4-1 in a vintage display of their power, and just foreshadowing the dominance that's to come for them in the Liga MX when it returns. So get ready for Cruz Azul to make it rain on y'all. Fuck Mazatlan FC. Give Morelia a team. That's all I'll say about that. And I'm excited for Mexican soccer to be back soon too. But yeah, shout out again to the boy Will and La Banda Roja de Chicago for giving us a comment. Shout out to everybody who watched live. Shout out to Ryan for sharing this earlier. Everybody else who's watching, give us a like. I want to also give a quick birthday shout out to the Full Heel Podcast, our boy Rafa And Jesus started doing this 4 years ago now. It started as a wrestling podcast by two high school buddies, as you guys can guess by the name, Full Heel. If you couldn't guess, that's how the name started. And they've been doing this on and off and for the better part of 4 years now. So shout out to Rafa for doing this and letting us use his platform. You know, maybe one day we get big enough and jump off, right? But thanks for having us on this one. And check out all of the quality stuff on the Full Heel Network, right? We did a fight companion for the excellent UFC 251 fight card this last weekend. It's International Fight Week, so I'm sure Rafa will be talking fights as well as, classic stuff with our boy Ryan. So be on the lookout for that. And once again, happy birthday shout out to FHP. For Johnny and Andres and Rafa, thanks again for joining us. Smash that subscribe button, and we'll see you guys next Monday.
Yeah.
Thanks again.
Buddy.
Peace out.
Yeah.